Hi guys, it's Meg, the Literary Prepper, back with you again. Just thought I'd do a really quick video. I'm in the process of sort of rearranging a few boxes with a few sort of non-edible bits and pieces. Just thought that I would actually show you guys what I've sort of got to put away. So again, this sort of plays into this whole thing where people are always saying that they can't afford to do things. Not sort of wanting to sort of shit on anyone who's in a financial situation where they genuinely can't prep, because I know that there are some people who literally need to live off every cent, but for a good chunk of the population it's just a really, really crap excuse to not, make sure that they, themselves and their families are actually prepared for whatever it is that's around the corner. So what I'm going to be doing today, I have a nappy box that I'm reusing. These are really good because they're relatively easy to carry. They stack really easily in the car, and they're relatively inconspicuous. So if we do have people coming around or whatever, all they see is that we have a few extra nappy boxes, not that we have hordes and hordes of food that they can sort of keep in the back of their minds, and if something does happen, hopefully they'll just think that we have a lot of nappies and that's about it. So I already have in here things like matches and things, but I'm going to throw in some more, because even though there are people out there who say don't worry about matches, I have lighters as well. So what are you going to do? You're going to complain that you have too much of both? I don't know. I like to hedge my bets, always have a contingency. Rule one of everything, always have a contingency. So some of the other things that are going into my little box today: more toilet paper. I buy the big bulk packs, but rather than just stacking them as I buy them, I sort of pull out probably about half the pack so that we can actually use it, and I put half the pack away because I don't know why. It probably makes more sense to go the other way and just buy it and stack it. I don't know, my brain works in weird ways. The other thing that I have is a resealable container of cotton buds. So these ones, I'm not sure how long they've actually been out for, but these have like a little paper stem, so better for the environment if you, like me, go through a lot of cotton buds for makeup application or cleaning or whatever. Yeah, choose paper over plastic. So that's going in there. So we also have about 6 cakes of soap. There's already soap in my box, but there's going to be some more soap going there because as well as practical hygiene uses, other people may not have soap. You can use it as a barter item. Always keep that in the back of your mind. What can you stock up on that other people don't have that you can barter with? That's going to be very important, because inevitably we're going to run out of something, and it's just a matter of what and when. So the other sort of thing that I don't think enough people really talk about, and maybe that's reflected in the fact that prepping seems to be a male-dominated sort of thing that people get into. There's obviously a lot of women out there as well, but generally speaking, I think it's men who sort of take the position of being the family protector. But things like pads and tampons, really, really important. Even if you don't have any women around the group that you're prepping with, again, really good as a barter item. Pads you can use for all sorts of things, extra sort of bandaging and whatnot. considering that, you know, depending on what it is happens, if it's a grid down situation, if, you know, water somehow becomes the thing that is most scarce and we're not able to bathe and shower on a regular basis, then that you're going to want pads over tampons for... I'm not going to explain why. If you don't know why, then do some research. But I do still have tampons in a couple of different sizes. Not necessarily because, you know, that's what suits me, but again, bartering, or, you know, you can, again, use these in a first aid situation. Tampons won't stop bleeding, but they will absorb blood. So rather than going through like a whole heap of tissues or toilet paper or, you know, whatever else you have around, then you know, that's an option for puncture wounds or nosebleeds or whatever. A number of years ago, I was actually talking to a guy who, you know, every other weekend he would go out pigging, and he would take tampons with him just in case his dog got, what's the word? Gored, I suppose, by a pig, and he would just sort of use that to stick a tampon in the wound and then bandage it before he could get his dog to the vet to stitch her back up. So these guys, by Kotex, they also have sports ones that you can buy that are now coming in like a purse pack sort of thing. So rather than just being a box of loose tampons, then they're also sort of inside the box is another plastic pouch that you can sort of throw in with the rest of your bits and pieces so that they're not just floating around randomly. Or if you want something that's going to be a little bit more durable, then these guys, Moxie, they have their tampons in a nice little tin. So even if you just, you know, take them out and use the tin to sort of store things like your matches, just different sort of things to think about. Even if you just wanted to buy a pack now and, you know, just keep the tin, just something else to think about. And as I've spoken about before, we've got a couple more tubes of toothpaste because I really don't want to go without this stuff in any event, even if it's sort of a long weekend when the shops are shut. You can never have too much toothpaste. And even though we've got heaps of toilet paper, I am still stocking tissues, and I find these guys are really, really handy, even just being a mum with, you know, a baby who makes a lot of mess. These little guys can sort of slot into any sort of pocket, or you just have them handy in the center console or glove box of your car or something, or, you know, wherever you can fit them sort of thing. So I've got lots of tissues. And, you know, in a pinch, sort of starting fires and things, you sort of take whatever you can get sort of thing, and no one's going to cry if you light a few tissues on fire. So we've got sort of trying to keep like items together, I suppose. We've got some painkillers because, again, if you're in a situation where you're already stressed out, you don't want to have a headache as well, or, you know, muscle ache or whatever. So I've got a couple of packets of Panadol and Nurofen in there, or was it paracetamol and ibuprofen, but I've also got just a big bulk pack that I got from the chemist. There's like 100 tablets in there. I'm a brand snob. I don't really like going generic, but, you know, I can't remember why I bought that. I think it might have actually been given to me, but I mean, in a pinch, you're not going to say no if you need it. So, you know, maybe sort of, you know, test them out first, because, you know, generic things don't always work no matter what they say. So, you know, test them out, see if they work, see if you like them. I believe these guys have a relatively long shelf life. So yeah, I mean, you're going to need some at some stage anyway, so you may as well. And then sponges, because we're still going to need to do the dishes and clean and do all that mundane crap, even though, you know, the world has ended effectively. So we've got some dish sponges. And then going slightly, you know, off topic here, but I'm going to include it anyway because these little guys are sealed and relatively small and easy to sort of just throw in as a box filler, I suppose. The idea of all of this is also to try to sort of keep the weight down so that, you know, we can keep an eye on where the heavy things are and where the really light things are for if we do ever have to sort of bug out somewhere and, you know, arrange the car or, you know, a bag or something in a relatively logical way. Salt. So we've got a couple different types of salt. We've got just normal table salt, and we've got our pink Himalayan salt. Honestly, I don't really know what the difference is. I have used both and I can't taste the difference, but then I don't eat it straight, so I suppose if you did that then you would be able to notice. Also have some turmeric that I'm throwing in, and some Tic Tacs because you know, a lot of softer sort of lollies and bits and pieces don't really store well. They do go stale. Chocolate in this heat is impossible to sort of store for even a relatively short period of time without it shocking and, like, you know, separating, so you have that white coating on it, which I know you can still eat it, but no one really likes to. So yeah, the smaller salt containers I have, these were actually bought specifically for the purposes of trade, or if for whatever reason our group has to separate, then you know, we can sort of divide that up. I do have bigger 2 kilo bags of salt that I'm waiting to sort of accumulate a bigger stash of before I actually transfer it into a different container. But for, you know, us staying put and just being our little group, I have, you know, a larger quantity of salt that we can break into if we need to. But yeah, as I said, just keep the idea of trade in the back of your head, because at some stage it's probably going to be a reality. So I think that was pretty much, you know, that box for now is mostly sort of toiletries and bits and pieces. So getting back to what I was saying before about people who sort of say that they don't have the money to prep. I don't buy all of this stuff at the same time. I probably spend, you know, maybe $20 per week on various sort of items. Obviously that depends on what that item is, but things like last night I went to the supermarket so that I could grab some bread, and I picked up, you know, a container of 100% maple syrup. Always make sure you buy the 100%. So I got some maple syrup, I got some Tic Tacs, I think that's it. But yeah, just grabbing a few extra bits and pieces, you know, every time you go, it adds up really quickly. And if you're worried about storage, you know, as I said, that's a nappy bag, a nappy box rather. So the width of it is like, you know, your hand, probably by about a hand span and a half, and the same again tall, so that doesn't take up a lot of space. And in there, I'll actually show you what I have. I've also got some packet soups in there, but they're not very interesting. So in there at this point in time, I have some toothbrushes, some deodorant, some you know, things that I can use to start a fire. Oh, I've got some wet wipes in there. Yeah, so that box there has about a 3-month supply of tampons. It's got a very long supply of different things to use to set things on fire. How many do I have? I think I've got at least 6, maybe 9 boxes of matches in there. I've got the 2 lighters that I'm about to add. Yeah, and I've got sort of, how many's in that one? 4, 6, 8 cakes of soap to go in that box, and that isn't going to fill the box. So that box is going to go up in the cupboard untaped, and I'm going to continue to fill it. So really doesn't take up a lot of space if space is one of your excuses. So these little guys are like $2. It's like $1.20. Again, like $1 or $2. Just start accumulating things. And as other people have said, if you can afford, and I know I used to sell insurance and I really hated saying this to people, but if you can afford to buy a Coke, if you can afford to buy a coffee, if you can afford to buy, whatever item it is that you buy on a regular basis that you really truly do not need to sustain your being, just go without 1, go without 2. Just it's either the immediate satisfaction of something that's really not that great for you anyway, if it is a junk food or an alcohol type thing, or even, God forbid, cigarettes. But it's either that or your family's safety and longevity. So it's up to you. I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, then you've already chosen that your family's protection is worth more than other random bits and pieces anyway. So that's what I'm adding to my box. And yeah, if you found this somewhat useful or interesting or whatever, or if you've got any other sort of questions about other stuff that I've stored, or if you want to give me ideas of what you guys store, because obviously the more we sort of communicate, the more ideas you sort of get. And even though some of these things should be really common sense about what it is that we put away, there are items that we either forget about, or there are items that other people use that we don't on a regular basis that we find interesting or helpful. So all of that kind of information is always really, really welcome. So yeah, like, share, subscribe. If you do subscribe, hit the little bell so that you get our notifications. But yeah, that's all I wanted to sort of talk about for now. Talk to you guys later. Bye.